All right, here's what it looks like to support the agents that come into me with real. It's Saturday afternoon, and we've got some strategy sessions. We got a lease purchase that we got to figure out with one of my crew, and we got a couple open houses going on. And one of them is trying to buy a house and figure out how to do the repair credit. So we're going to jam through this and see what we get.
Hello there.
What's up?
Me just stressing out.
Why are you stressing out?
Because I don't like knowing things. And yeah, I just feel like I should know this stuff. It stresses me out.
Well, you only know it when you're going through the experience of it. And if it's not an opportunity that you're looking at, then you're not there yet. So don't feel like you don't know something. You just haven't had the experience yet. And that's what the fun part about these things is. Once you see it, then your eyes are open. You're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Makes sense. Then you get to go experiment with it.
Yeah. I guess where I go is I'm like afraid to do something wrong, and because I don't know enough.
Right.
So.
And with that said, that's why we're having the conversations, just going through it. Rather than going it with no confidence, go into it with all the confidence that we have, doing it together and lining it out and making it a win-win for everybody.
Right. No, that sounds good. Did you get my email?
I did.
Mind dump?
I did. I pulled it up, which was great. Great mind dump.
Okay.
So,
I was just afraid that I wasn't going to have it fresh in my mind and kind of forget things.
Okay. My question is so you dropped the price $725. Are they good? Are these buyers ready to buy it at $725 on a lease purchase?
He said that he was going to put together a really good offer,
okay,
which I'm assuming is going to be at that or more. I don't know. But they don't qualify right now for it.
Okay.
And this agent, I guess he said he's both. He's a dual, where he's a lender and an agent.
Okay.
It sounds like, they're going to be in a position to get there, but, with the whole housing allowance and all that kind of stuff, it's just going to put them in a much better position down the road.
Perfect. So the value in all this is that, that family is getting a chance to move in, get settled, and work towards that. And Bernadette gets to go and do whatever she wants to do on her end.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, how does the commissions work on a lease purchase? Because technically they're leasing it for 2 years.
Yep.
And then they buy it.
Yep.
So how does that work?
It works out however you want it to work out. It's whatever's in an agreement. So either a portion of it can be paid. I will tell you that I don't pay. And by the way, this is a really good thing in these lease purchase offers. Now, we're not worried about compensating in the other direction. That is for them to work out. So you are only dealing with what your commission is paid to you on this listing and lease purchase. Okay. So unless it is negotiated into those things, and now we'll have to see what they're requesting out of that deposit as commissions. But again, it's really that deposit is us, and that's between us and Bernadette as to what commission is being paid up front in advance for this position. So it really actually, this new NAR thing really cleans this up for us, especially on a lease purchase, because now they get to go deal with their own buyer on compensation.
And he had asked me if she was giving any compensation, and I said that there was talks about her giving compensation, but it also depends, now that we dropped the price, if she was going to at all. And so I probably shouldn't have said that, but Bernadette's just kind of been all over the place.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't know what to say. And so he's like, well, if there's not compensation, I don't know if they're going to move forward. And I'm like, listen, she needs to net a certain amount of money out of this if we're going to do a lease purchase. And so they're going to need to either bring in more money if there's going to be any compensation paid, or, we're going to have to just figure it out.
Yeah, that's where if we just respond back on listings that the compensation is going to be based on net offer. So write the best offer you can, write in whatever your commission you're desiring, and
Yeah.
we will negotiate at that. And then we go to town on the offer, and we kind of keep the commission and the closing costs and the things about what they requested and keep it to the pricing.
Okay. Sounds good.
Because then what that does for us is it puts the commission, the closing costs, and the price back in the, buyer, lessee, and the agent's hands to deal with on their end. They can adjust it however they want on their end. I'm not going to adjust any of those numbers except for the sales price on my end.
Okay. So the way I have my listing agreement was only the sale, I have nothing in writing on a lease, nothing lease purchase, nothing. And I had it to where we were making 2.5% on the listing side. And obviously I had it listed before this whole NAR thing came about, and she was offering 2.5 on the buy side.
Okay, so here's where you need to work in this.
Yeah.
With the new rules, even though we have that compensation there, we can go to Bernadette and go, because this is one thing that we need to make sure of is, do you want to disclose this or not, that there's compensation, or just let them iron it out? Mm-hmm. And then you basically have 5% to work with, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what agreed to. And I'm going to say, cool, we have 1.5 to work with. I'm not going to sell you short, and we need to amend that piece there with this lease purchase. So, she has about 1.5 and going, so we'll kind of work through that together.
Okay.
In that, just because the rules have changed, let's look at the whole situation, because technically we got to put back and then look at the budget with the numbers and to get her net number. Okay.
So in regards to Bernadette's question on, does she pay commission to us in the beginning, or half now and half in the end? It's all negotiable, you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. Sounds good.
This is where we get fun and we start to negotiate for ourselves and make it a win-win, because a lot of agents will push back their commissions for a couple of years rather than taking care of it now.
Property manage while it's in the lease period, before the purchase happens, or how does that work?
Yes. So here's the structure of that. So we're going to go through and we're going to have a lease. Lease terms are all in there, and I'm going to suggest that we do a net lease. So a net lease, it's based like on commercial. So they're going to assume responsibility for repairs. The management company is going to make sure and take care of all the payments and all those pieces, but we're not going back and forth all these repairs if they're really doing a lease purchase. So they're taking responsibility for those.
Okay.
And then on that lease, yes, I highly recommend just using the property management company to take care of that. And we're going to tie in the lease with the purchase contract for performance, because if the lease is violated, the contract's violated, which makes the deposit money non-refundable.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And, well, let's keep going, staying on the lease. So keep in mind that on the lease, we can separate deposits in different ways. We have a larger non-refundable deposit on the purchase contract. In most cases, I don't do one on the lease. It just depends on how you want to operate in that capacity. I always look at it that I don't have a security deposit, but I do have non-refundable deposit on the purchase. And if they violate the lease and it cancels the contract, just because they don't have a security deposit doesn't mean that I can't financially go after them for collections for further damages over and above what they didn't have as a security deposit. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Now, does the portion of the rent that they would be paying go towards their down payment or any part of the purchase, or just the down payment?
All negotiable.
Okay.
So this is where Bernadette is going to have to get comfortable with, I understand she wants this $3,800.
Yeah.
Then we're going to go to $3,800, but we're going to give this $200 credit towards closing cost upon execution of purchase. So she's getting the higher rent now to help offset her costs, and she's going to credit it back to them in the future. If that makes her feel good now, she should be okay with that credit in the future, because she's just collecting that deposit. And if they default, the money's just hers. She doesn't owe it back. That's where the benefit is in that.
Okay. I think it really just comes down to, he just needs to submit the offer at this point, right?
Right. So we have another agent coming in with an offer.
whatever his terms are.
Okay,
that they're asking
okay.
for.
And Bernadette's main things from this email are preferred an October 1st move-in, $3,800 a month, which we can address. And then her concern, so just making sure, her bottom line is she'd really like to walk away with $30K.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She wants to pay off her credit cards, and she's got to pay off a handyman that did some work on the house.
Okay.
And now on a lease purchase, is there, what was I going to say? Do they do their inspections before they move in?
Yes.
Kind of like a normal purchase?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything in the contract when they move in will be removed as contingencies.
Got it. Okay.
So appraisals, all those things, financing contingencies, none of those are contingencies. They'll have to work through them. And I always look at all this and go, hey, seller, let's make sure that we're having grace. We're taking all these things out. And I know you want to step on people and different things, but it's making sure that we're looking at the big picture when we go down the road. If somebody comes up with a problem or they need to lease it further or they need to put more down payment in, it's just making sure that, yes, we have these things in place to make sure that we're protected, but it's also, let's keep in mind what the real problem we're trying to solve here. She wants to sell the house. These people want to buy it. They're serious about it. And sometimes we have to be flexible.
Okay. Now, as far as the chunk of down payment, since she wants somebody to be in there by October 1st and they're just listing the house next weekend, is that something, that chunk of the down payment, if they don't have their house sold by the time October 1st is, and she wants somebody to be in there, can they start paying the $3,800 a month and we can have that down payment to be like a to-come item once the house sells?
Yep. And you know how we're going to secure that? Their down payment will come in a form of a note and deed of trust for $50,000 against their sale. It'll be recorded. And once they move into the New River property, then that lien will have to be paid off with the sale of their home. And we'll put a balloon date in it so that if they decide, like, we couldn't sell our house, so we're not going to, now we have a way to go back and enforce that note and deed of trust. Okay?
All right, sounds good. Okay, well, then I'll let this agent know to just submit his terms and, we'll just have to present it and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's super clean when it comes down because they do have some down payment and we work through the commissions and what those are, and the deposits is kind of what we call them. And we do run the property through escrow from the beginning. It's like a 2-year escrow because when we collect non-refundable money, we want it to be able to source and season through the title company, and the title company release those funds to the seller and the agents so that everything's super clean.
Okay.
Because it's always hard to backtrack this stuff with the lender if they get a deposit through the property management company and where it all goes. So with it going in escrow, all the deposits, payments, and things stay the same. And the last thing I read in the email was like, if we have to go to that 65 or 70,000, we may look at some quarterly or semi-annually balloon payments on this as well to give a little bit more security as we go through this.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. And then once I get the offer and everything, I'll tell them to give us a couple days for the time of acceptance so that we can kind of go over it. And I'll definitely need your help on all the paperwork.
Yeah, no, it's great. We'll get through it, and you'll get through it with big confidence, and you get to see it and how we perform it and what it looks like, and then you'll be a pro at it.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I really appreciate it, and I'll let you know when I hear anything else.
You got it. Have a great afternoon, and let me know what I can do. And if we need to go out and meet with Bernadette, or if she wants to come out to the office and just kind of ram through all the documents and paperwork together, that's awesome too. Whatever's convenient for everybody.
Okay. I think she's in New Mexico right now working.
Okay.
So, yeah, it'll probably have to be remote unless she's coming into town. But
Zoom call it is.
I'll check with her. Yep, I think so.
That works.
Okay.
Thanks, Lisa.
Good.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Bye. You see, if you learn to invest in yourself when you may not understand some sort of way to purchase a home or sell a home, then you go and you find a mentor and you offer to bring them into the deal for maybe a percentage or a fee or something, so that you have an equal exchange of energy, and now you're learning through that process just like this agent is. Hey, don't forget to subscribe, comment, ask questions, all the things. And if you're looking for more information, head over to my website. Follow me here. Ask some questions, reach out.